Okay, let's go to the course folder tab. All right, inside the course, you will go to course content. Additionally, you'll go to assignments and tests. We're going to look at some of the projects, or at least the first one. And now we're going to go to lab projects. Now, inside the lab projects folder, you have a subfolder called Lab 1. Pause. So to continue, let's look at Lab 1. Now, you know Student Data Files has some of the assignments within the chapter. So let's look at just one of them in the Students Data Files section. Under the uncompressed, which means the files are already there for you to open up. Student Data Files, Chapter 1. If you look at customer stats.txt, this will be a pseudocode. Now, pseudocode is partial code. Pseudo means false, P-S-E-U-D-O, so it's not real code. So you notice over here, I'm just kind of explaining it. The slashes are the comment, so it's talking about the customer program name, what it does. Now, this one you don't have to do for an assignment, but it does. I do want to show it to you just for information. Now, typically with this, you'll have a start. Pseudocode, you have a start. This will not work in JavaScript. Pseudocode is irrespective, has nothing to do with real code. All right, you have a start, and then at the bottom you're going to have a stop. All right, so this is just planning for what we want to do in our real code. Now, within the body of this, you have variables that you declare. For instance, we may, in this example, if you look in the book, it's on page 31 and 32. What we're going to be doing is to Sunshine Books opens up every morning at 8 to 12. The manager wants information about the number of customers in different times in the store at different times. The clerk is going to take this up, and your job as a programmer is going to be using pseudocode. Now, this is not something you have to turn in. This is just teaching moment. So you're going to declare, you're going to have the total number of customers, the average, and then some count of the customer each hour. So these are some variables. Now, the number of hours was between 8 and 12, so they define that as a constant. So notice that these are comments. So you're declaring something as numeric called total customer, or T-O-T-C-U-S-T, tote cust. All right, now down below, it wants you to display a heading, and so you're going to be doing that, and then get the number of each customers per hour. So, you got the display statement, enter the number of customers for the first hour. Notice the comments, what the user would see if they were to run this, but again, it's pseudocode, so it won't run, is going to be in quotes. See the quotes around it? And then you're going to input count. You're going to do that for each of the 4 hours. All right? Then what you're going to do is compute the average. Compute the total and the average and display the results. So total cust, tote cust, T-O-T-C-U-S-T, that we've defined up above, right here, is going to be used to hold the summation of the 4 hours. Then we're going to use average cust to determine, and that's going to be a division of total cust, which we calculated just a minute ago, divided by the number of hours, which is 4, used as a constant up above, right here. Okay, so when we get that value, we're going to then display the total number of customers, and this right here is a concatenation. Concatenate means to put together. So right after that, it's going to put the result of total cust and then the average. So if we have 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25, that'd be 100, making it easy, divided by 4, average of 25. So it'd say the total number of customers would be 100 divided by the 4 hours, which would be 25. And then it's going to say thank you, and then we're all done. So that's just pseudocode that I wanted to explain. Okay? Now, let's look at something else. Assignment 1-2. That's what you've got to do that's in the book. Yikes. All right, this is pseudocode. This is only part of it. I've taken part of it and kind of stripped it down a little bit. And this is going to be pseudocode you're going to have to write pseudocode where you're going to have to compute the number of hours worked each day, and the program's going to ask for hours worked on each day, totals them, multiplies the amount by the standard rate, because Brianna is a consulting person, so $30 an hour. So the invoice, and this is per 10, is going to be, includes her name, Brianna's business name, which is What Gives. That's the name of her business. And then the business name, the total number of hours, the rate, amount billed, information would be displayed on the screen. So again, we have some comments, right? And you will fill in your author name and then the date you last modified it. Start and stop to begin and end it, so we know where it begins and ends. And then you're going to declare some variables. So we're going to use total hours, amount billed, and then you got, similar to the last one, hours per day, or hours of each day, but it's similar to the last one in concept. Now a numeric declaration means that you're going to put numbers in there. A string declaration, client name is a string, means it can be letters and numbers. It could be, Joe Smith or Joe Smith the fourth, or it could be an address, 402 Block Street. All right. Her fee is a constant because it's $30 an hour as given in the assignment. Her company name is What Gives, which is a constant too. We're going to display that. So you're going to display a heading for the invoice, the client name, and you're going to input the client name. Then you're going to get the hours of the day. And here's where it gets a little tricky. This is incomplete. So you're going to have to complete, similar to the other one we saw a minute ago. This maybe have to be duplicated several times for the different hours. Enter the number of hours on the first day. Well, she's got 5 days, so you may have to have 5 sets of this right here. Display and input, display and input, display and input, hint, hint. All right, so the next thing over here is going to be total hours, which we defined up top. We typically declare our variables before we use them. All right, and then you have to keep the same name. If you call it TOT hours, you must call it TOT hours down here, or when you turn this into JavaScript code, it will fail. We don't want it to fail. We want it to work. So hours day 1. And notice that we've got this up here for hours day 1 through 5. So that tells you right there you're going to have to do a little bit of extra work in here. We're going to add all those up because it's got to sum them up. And then it's going to be a billing rate of, I'm assuming that you're going to have to put this in here yourself. However, if you think about it, it's going to be the product of her fee rate as a constant, as well as, guess what? Total hours. Then you're going to display on the screen the company name, which is going to be What Gives, and then consulting services, total, client name, which we've derived up before, we've input from before earlier, and then the total number of hours, and then also the fee rate is 30, and then the amount billed, which is the amount billed right down here. All right, so these right here give us the total number of hours she worked. So total number of consulting hours in quotes is going to literally print that on the screen. This is pseudocode, so it won't really do it, but it would if it were real code. Concatenate, not add. You're going to stick to concatenate means to put it to the side of it, the hours. So it'll say total number of consulting hours is 30, total number of consulting hours 30, let's say, or 35 or 40, whatever it is. Standard consulting fee is a $sign is going to be quoted in the quote, so it's going to put that in there as a literal, and then it's going to be concatenated or string together with fee rate of 30 as a constant. If she were to go up in price to $35, then it would reflect all the way through down into here. So we don't want to hard code 30 down here because it may change. We just hard code it once. That's called hard coding it as a constant. All right, and then the total amount billed will be the product of, this is equal to really the fee rate times the number of hours billed. Okay, well that's it for that first one. Thanks and have a grand day.